All right, a bit of I'll be honest, a weird move just happened with the Cleveland Browns. So Jerry Judy, he got traded to the Cleveland Browns for not very much draft capital. And I remember I kind of, I made a video where I talked about how it kind of makes sense that he didn't get that much draft capital back because it's a 1-year, $13 million deal that he's currently on. I mean, it's the end of his deal, but he's basically on a 1-year, $13 million deal. That's not exactly cheap amount of money, so a lot of teams aren't exactly lining up for that, plus the 1-year rental side of things. Apparently, that's not exactly the case, as the Cleveland Browns shell out a ton of money, a $58 million 3-year deal. $41 million is fully guaranteed, so I don't know exactly how those guarantees are, but it is possible that the third year is not guaranteed at all. Worth mentioning, this is an extension, is what Rappaport said. I'm not sure if that means that this is going to be tacked on to the end of the year, or if this is just starting now. I believe that implies this would be tacked on, so it's essentially a 4-year deal with the next year still being $13 million, is what I'm assuming is the case here. So it's a lot of money. I mean, basically $20 million a year for Jerry Judy, who I actually like a bit as a player. I think I've defended him, but I think Jerry Judy has showed that at his best, he's a solid number 2 option, and hasn't always gotten a ton of playing time, has had his injuries, and hasn't been very consistent throughout the course of his career. He is still just 24 years old. He'll be 25 next season. There is that, which is an aspect of all of this, but again, if you look at more of his box score stats, he has never had an 1,000-yard season, although he has been close. He's had, 3 seasons over 750. He had, his career high was 972, which was just shy of 1,000, but still, it's not exactly he's a top of the line player. Now, worth mentioning, $20 million isn't exactly top of the line wide receiver money either, right? I mean, the cap keeps going up, so I think contracts are always a little bit surprising when you read them at first, just because of that fact. But even so, this feels like a weird move for Cleveland, who I think has done a smart job at, roster construction. I mean, say what you want about the Deshaun Watson deal. At the time, it made perfect sense because at the time, or at least on the field, it made perfect sense because he was coming off a great season in Houston. Again, there's the whole off the field stuff, but that's a conversation for another day. But he hasn't worked out. It is what it is. But basically, I feel like they've made a lot of smart moves. This is a weird one, especially when, from where I'm sitting, you can have him play on his 5th-year option, and if he's good, you have the threat of a franchise tag. So, he's probably not going anywhere, right? You can pretty much lock him up at the end of this year. Maybe they think he's going to have a great year, and he'll want more after that. Feels like a pretty big risk, though, and a bit of a surprise. So, I don't know. I think he'll probably be a good player for them. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a situation where we all make fun of it and then kind of similar to Christian Kirk where it kind of works out all right. But it's a weird move, especially one. It's not a move they had to make, and they had him for another year, and they could have franchise tagged him after this. So a lot of money for Jerry Judy, and again, $41 million guaranteed. It's worth mentioning as well. I think that the way these guarantees can be structured, it's possible $10 million of the final year is guaranteed. So unless you cut him after a year, you're essentially going to be paying him for the next 4 seasons, which is, they're writing this contract because they believe in Judy, which is, it's a choice, and we'll see how well it works out. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this surprising move. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.